I've made loads of cheesecakes over the years, but they just aren't my thing. Will I eat them? Sure. Will I enjoy them? Not really. Brownies though, I'd eat them for breakfast, lunch and dinner if I could. So I had an idea. What if I combined them and made cheesecake brownies? Would it finally make me like cheesecake?
Well, let's find out. We're gonna start with the brownies first. My speciality, I absolutely love brownies. Cheesecake, not so much, but fudgy brownies, yes. And I'm gonna give you all of my tips to make the fudgiest brownies. We start off with our butter first. You can use real butter or you can use margarine as well, or baking spread. I'm using real butter this time, and some dark chocolate as well. And then we're gonna melt this together on a low heat until it is just melted together and it's nice and shiny and glossy. I don't really know why I dislike cheesecake so much. I've made them with my favorite flavors like Biscoff and Oreo, but I still just don't like them. However, I did make something with mascarpone cheese recently and I was like, this is really nice. I wonder if that would work in a cheesecake. Let me know in the comments if you've ever tried that before. So that is our butter and chocolate melted together now, and it is deliciously silky. I could just eat this right now. So we're gonna put this to one side to cool down a little bit, and then we're gonna move on to the next stage. So next up is our eggs and sugar, and this is where we can make our crackly shiny top. It's got 3 large eggs, and we have some caster sugar and light brown sugar in here as well. And we're going to whisk this together until it has doubled in volume. It's gone a little bit more pale, and when we hold the whisk up, the egg should make a trail on itself. I'll show you what I mean once we get there. So as you can see, we have whipped loads of air into here, and if I just grab the mixture, I can make a figure of 8 with my eggs, and that means you are ready to go. So we have our delicious chocolate mixture here, and we're gonna pour all of this in to our eggs. We're gonna mix it all together, and it literally transforms before adding our dry ingredients in. Make sure we get as much out as we can because we do not wanna be wasting chocolate. So I'm gonna slowly whisk this together, and you will see it transform into a delicious chocolate mixture. And when you're doing this, just be careful that you are not doing it too vigorously because we don't want to knock all of the air out that we've just whisked in. I'm going to add some vanilla in because you always need vanilla when you are baking with chocolate to enhance the flavour slightly. You can also add coffee if you want to. I don't with mine, but you definitely can. And now it's time for the dry ingredients. So I've got cocoa powder here and some plain flour. And this is where you can make your brownies super fudgy. And really it's the key to fudgy brownies is the quantities of dry ingredients compared to the fat in your brownies. I use very few dry ingredients, so I use less than 100 grams of plain flour and I use only 50 grams of cocoa powder. And the less dry ingredients you have, the more fudgy your brownies are going to be. The more dry ingredients you have, the more cakey your brownies are going to be. And there we go, delicious brownie batter. So we're going to put this to one side, and then we're going to move on to our cheesecake mixture and we can put it all together. Okay, cheesecake time. My least favorite bit, but we'll go with it. So cream cheese, caster sugar, and 1 large egg. Now this is obviously baked cheesecake, which is why we're adding the egg. No baked cheesecake, you obviously don't need to add any egg. And then we're gonna whisk this together just gently. We're not trying to whisk any air into it. We just want it to come together. It is gonna be quite a wet mixture, but that's fine because we are baking it. And then I'm just gonna add a touch of vanilla in as well, again, to give it more flavor, and whisk that in too. And that is our cheesecake mixture complete in literally about 30 seconds. So now it's time to assemble everything. So I have an 8 by 10 inch tin here, which I have greased and lined. We're gonna put our brownie batter on the bottom, and then we're gonna dollop our cheesecake batter in. And I also have some raspberry jam just to give it a nice little fruity kick. Delicious brownie batter. And again, we don't wanna waste any of this, so I'm gonna pour as much as I can in. And then we're gonna spread the brownie mixture to make sure that we've got it into the corners. It will make its own way, but we just wanna give it a little bit of a helping hand. And then we grab our cheesecake mixture, which we're gonna dollop on top. And then we're gonna grab a palette knife and we're just gonna swirl the brownie and cheesecake mixture together. We don't want to do it too much because we want to have some nice swirls in it. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. Tip for raspberry jam, I made this a couple of weeks ago. I'll leave a card if you want to make it yourself. It is obviously very set. I can do this like you can with meringue. So I'm going to put some hot water in this just to loosen it up, and then we're going to pour some blobs on exactly like we did with the cheesecake. Okay, so I've just poured some hot water in here. It's just going to make it a little bit looser so we can pour it together properly. Oh, okay, well, there's a little bit already on the cheesecakes. And it smells so delicious. So as you can see, it is loads looser now and very easy to pour on our cheesecake mixture, which is what we are going to do now. So again, I'm just going to add a few blobs. Raspberries and cheesecake, delicious. So I'm hoping this is a winner for me, and maybe it will convert me to actually liking cheesecakes. We shall see. And then again, I'm going to go in with my palette knife and just very gently swirl the top layer of this. The raspberries won't really go into the brownies much, but we want to make sure that every bite has cheesecake, brownie and raspberry mixture, just like so. And look how delicious that is. So we're going to bake it now. We're going to bake it at 170 degrees Celsius. That's for a fan assisted oven. It's going to take around half an hour. However, we do want to underbake this. Underbaking brownies is the perfect solution for fudgy brownies, not cakey ones. So I will see you in half an hour's time, but for you it will be like 2 seconds. Brownies are out of the oven. They took about 32 minutes. They are ever so slightly wobbly, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by the cocktail stick test. So grab a cocktail stick, or a knife is fine. I'm going to show you the edge first and then I'll show you the middle. So if I go into the edge into kind of a brownie bit, get through the crust, you can see that I've got a few little crumbs on the cocktail stick, but if I go into the center, you can see that it is wet mixture on there. Now it's not completely undercooked as in raw, but it's undercooked enough that when we put it in the fridge to set, they're going to create really, really fudgy brownies. If you cook these until a cocktail stick comes out clean, they're going to be cakey. Now speaking of fudgy brownies, here is my last tip, and you might hate me for this one. We're going to have to put them in the fridge for a little bit meaning overnight ideally, or at least 4 hours. Putting them in the fridge is going to allow the chocolate and the butter to set. It will allow the cheesecake mixture to set as well, and it will create the most beautiful fudgy brownies. So trust me on this one. Be patient if you can, and I will see you tomorrow when we can finally cut into them and taste test them. So it's the next day and the brownie is perfectly set and ready to eat, and we're finally going to find out if I now like cheesecake. So I'm going to chop this up and show you the center. Ta-da! I mean, that is a perfectly fudgy brownie. So let's chop this up as evenly as we can, and then we can finally taste test it. Okay, not very even, but let's try it and see if I'm finally a fan of cheesecake. I think I am. You get the fudgy brownie, chocolate hit, and then the tangy cheese from the cheesecake with the slightly sour, tangy raspberry jam. I think I'm converted. I think I finally like cheesecakes. Maybe they always have to be loaded with brownies. Maybe that's the secret to everything. I really hope you've enjoyed this video and following this journey on whether I like cheesecakes or not, which apparently I do, as long as they're loaded with brownies. Please don't forget to give it a like if you enjoyed it, and it is the start of spooky season soon on this channel, so don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye.